Late one winter night, a young woman named Clara drove home alone through a desolate stretch of highway. The road was slick with ice, and the headlights of her car barely cut through the dense fog that hung in the air. Her phone buzzed with a message from her friend, but when Clara glanced at it, she could barely make out the words. "Drive carefully, something doesn't feel right." Shaking it off as just a weird coincidence, she turned the radio on to distract herself. The static was unsettling, but suddenly, the DJ's voice broke through. "And if you're driving down Route 47 tonight, stay alert. There's been a report of a man seen wandering near the woods, drenched, and eerily, walking toward the cars." Clara laughed nervously, figuring it was just a strange radio prank, but something about the DJ's tone chilled her to the bone. The fog grew thicker, and her car began to slow as she approached a curve in the road near the woods. That's when she saw him, a tall figure, drenched, walking toward her headlights. His face was obscured, but his movements were stiff, unnatural. She hit the brakes, and as her car came to a stop, the man stopped too, just feet away from her, his head tilting at an impossible angle. Clara's heart pounded. She couldn't breathe. She quickly reached for her phone, but just as her fingers touched the screen, a loud thud rang out against her car. The man had slammed his hand against her window, his eyes now wide open, empty and cold. Without thinking, Clara slammed her foot on the gas pedal, speeding away with the man still staring after her in the rearview mirror. Her mind raced with panic, but when she looked up ahead, she saw something worse. The fog was thickening even more, and the road ahead was empty. No sign of the man, no sign of anything, just the eerie silence. As she sped through the mist, she received one final message. "Did you see him too?" Clara froze. The message was from her friend, the one she had just seen earlier, but she didn't have time to reply. The car's headlights flickered and then went out completely, leaving her in the darkness, with no sound except for the pounding of her own heart, and the soft sound of footsteps behind her. There was no one there when she looked back, but the footsteps kept getting louder.